My name's Lesely Yendell. I've been resident at Bemis since May the 13th, and I'm finishing this Friday, the 7th of August. Primarily, I'm a sculptor. Drawing plays a very important part of my practice, and also occasionally I make performance work. In the late 80s, when I moved to Spain, I became very interested in working with natural materials, and I became very, very interested in the new culture that I was living in. The landscape there and the lifestyle there, the way people lived, all had a very profound influence on the work I was doing. And I began to get very interested in the dichotomy between the interior and the exterior. And I began to make large-scale everyday objects out of branches. Generally, they were objects that were very recognizable, like cups, domestic objects, things that you use in the kitchen to help with the cooking process, so like an orange squeezer, for example, or a teapot. And then interpreting it on a much larger scale and with materials that come from the exterior environment, i.e. branches. A lot of people, when they write about my work, they make the point that I'm a woman working with objects from the domestic environment. And obviously, feminism is something that's very important to me. It's something that I'm aware of. My work and the subject matter of my work is possible because of the pioneering feminist artists. So those artists, the generation before me, were the artists who opened the doors to this type of work being, and this type of subject matter being relevant to the artistic conversation. The meticulous process within the creation of the pieces is something that sort of like reflects this continuous labor in the vineyards that I see around me, but also, I suppose, are a reflection of the mountain of household tasks and the equivalent labor that has been done by women in the home. I've come here to make work that is not to be taken home. So I was immediately in a position where I could experiment without being tied to making a finished object. So I tried to stay open-minded, and I tried to follow my instincts for experimentation. And throughout the 3 months, I've documented the processes that I've been exploring. With the introduction of technology to my work, I'm really interested in exploring this contrast between natural materials and technology. You immediately raise an enormous number of questions about what are you doing? And what I've achieved here, I feel, is I've achieved an understanding of what the process is and how to do it. And now it will be taken forward in a more intentional way in future work.